For our next segment, we are going to be practicing finding the mean. Our steps are indicated here. Add all your data points, divide them by the number of data points. So here we have, let's find the mean of the data set 2, 1, 2, 4, 5, 4 together. So our data points are these. We have 6 different data points. I'm going to first add them all together. So I'm going to do this in a way that makes sense to me. I know that 2 and 1 gives me 3, and then 2 and 3 gives me 5. And then I have a 5 here, so it gives me 10. And then 4 and 4 gives me 8. So in total we have 18. So I've added my data points. You can also do that just setting it up in the standard way, and either adding them all or adding them step by step. Which would be, if you do it this way, it'd be wise to cross them off as you use them. So I use 2 plus 1, give me 3, plus 2 more, gives me 5, and then 5 plus 4 gives me 9. Move this up here. And then plus 5 gives me 14, and plus 4 more gives me 18. So either way is suitable. If you use a method like this, cross them off as you go. And then if you don't, you can use these little branches like I did to find which numbers you've added and which numbers you still need to add. Those are 2 different strategies for adding a lot of add-ins together. So now, I've added them all together. I divide them now by the number of data points. So as I said, I had 6. You can also number them so that you know exactly how many you have. So we have 18 divided by 6. And I'm just going to set it up in the division house. And in this case, I'm going to have to know my math facts. I think that 6 times 3 is going to give me 18. And again, if I don't know that fact, I can add 6 together 3 times. So that's 6 plus 6 gives me 12. Using that repeated addition, I know that 2 plus 6 gives me 8. And then carry on that 10, 18. So 6 times 3 gives me 18. So I know that 6 goes into 18 3 times, and it goes in evenly. So in this case, the mean is 3. Next, we're going to find the mean for this data set right here. We have 5, 23, 8, and 12. So again, I can use branching, I can use this addition strategy to find the sum. I'm going to do branching first. I saw this, 2 and 8, I know that adds a 10, so 8 and 12 gives me 20. And then we can add 23 and 20, which gives me 43. And then 5 and 43 is going to give me 48. Okay, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 data points. So now, step 2, divide them by the number of data points. 48 divided by 4. Now this one, I think I can actually figure out without necessarily knowing all of my multiplication facts. 4 goes into 4 one time, and then 4 goes into 8. Let's go ahead and write this out with a 0 left. Go down to 8. 4 goes into 8 2 times. So 4 goes into 48 12 times. So my mean is 12. And I should be boxing these in. I'm going to run out of a little bit of space, but it's still here. And the answer is 12. And here, the answer is 3. I'll do one more with you, and then I'll have the last 2 remain for you for practice. I'll read them out. Now, question 3, find the mean. We have 4.5, 5, 3.5, 2, and 2.5. This is a little bit trickier because in this case, we have decimals that we need to add. Remember, when we add decimals, we must line them up. For this example, I'm going to do addition like this because that's going to be a little bit easier for me to visually make sure I'm adding it correctly. So I'm going to start by adding 2 of my decimal numbers together. I do that because then I don't have to write in a 0 or anything yet. So we have 5 and 5 is 10. So I put the 0 down here, bring up to 10. And I'm going to add that decimal in so they all line up. And I have 4 plus 3 plus 1, that's 7 and 8. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in the next number with the decimal. We have, again, decimal point brought down. 0 and 5 is 5. Find my decimals. 8 and 2 gives me 10. So I have 10.5, but I still have these two numbers to add. Now I know that 5 and 2 give me 7, so I can add in 7 right now. When I'm adding this in, however, I have to remember this goes in the ones place. These numbers all right in here are in my ones place. The decimal goes after the ones place. And I'll put a 0 in the tens place after the decimal point to hold it. And now, I forgot to add my addition signs, my plus signs. I'm going to add. So we have 5 and 0. These are tens. 5 tenths and 0 tenths gives me 5 tenths. Add in my decimal so they're all lined up. 0 and 7 ones gives me 7, and then 1 10. So I have 17 and 5 tenths. Now I need to find the mean. This gets a little bit trickier too, because now I have a decimal that I need to divide. What we will do is set up the division house with the number I'm dividing inside. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data points. So I'm going to divide them by the number of data points. This was my total for the data points. This is how many data points I have. It's 5. Now I'm going to divide in the same way that I usually do. I know that 5 goes into 1 0 times. 5 goes into 17, but I need to figure out how many times. I know that 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 would be too big because that's 20. And now I also know that 5 times 2 equals 10, but that's too small. I want to find the largest number that I can fit in here, and that's going to be 15. So I'm going to write a 3 up here in my quotient. 15 is 5 times 3. And I'm going to subtract what I've used up. So we have 7 minus 5 is 2. 1 minus 1 gives me 0. I'm going to bring this down here. Now, because I've passed the decimal point, I'm going to add that into my quotient directly above, so they are lined up. However, down here, I don't need to worry about the decimal anymore. Once I put it here, I'll just continue dividing normally. Now, 5 goes into 25. I know that 5 times 4 gives me 20. 5 times 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 gives me 25. So that fits exactly. Put the 5 up here in the quotient. I'm left with 0. So our mean for this data set is 3.5. The mean is 3.5. Now I will read the remaining problems, but I will leave you those for you to solve on your own. Again, take out a piece of scratch paper, and these are something that you can do at home. It says, Gwendolyn, who is a witch, went on an international witch tour. The following table shows the number of spells that she cast in each country. Country Brazil, Argentina, Russia, and Australia. The number of spells. Now, it is important as you're solving problems like these, they don't give you the data points in a list like we've seen here. This is in a table. This is telling me that in 4 different countries, she cast a certain number of spells. I need to use these numbers as my data points. So 1, 5, 5, and 1. I won't solve this problem, but I will remind you that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 data points. I'm going to add these together and then divide them by 4. Now in this problem, it says Anduin casts a variety of healing spells. The number of health points that each of his healing spells restores is listed below. They have 43, 57, 30, 18, 26, and 12. This one's a lot more familiar. It looks just like the ones that we solved up above. It asks us to find the mean number of health points. Go ahead and attempt these problems on your own at home. You can pause the screen here and you'll be able to see both